This is the first test of plugin programs I've been developing for the Comet. It's not just been about programming. Instruments have been reworked with things like failure flags, doll's eyes and other magnetic indicators operate more realistically, manipulators for multi-selector knobs are easier to use, and gauge responses are damped. The Comet had two inverters supplying alternating current and a standby inverter in case either of those failed in flight. Here I've switched inverter 2 off, but the plugin also checks for failures triggered in the simulator itself. The first step in fixing the problem was to start the standby inverter. Inverter 2 supplied bus B, so the source for bus B had to be switched over. This only worked if a mechanical guard was moved first. In the program, the guard is also blocked when the switch is down, which you'll see as I restore inverter number 2. Other guards work more naturally as well. Power supplies for the radios were on the flight navigator station. With the plugin, these switches also have to be on before the radios will work. Pilot's instruments had radio controllers on the roof panel. ADF1 and ADF2 controllers are at the top of this picture. You might just be able to read that the frequencies are currently set to 352 and 433 kHz. The navigator had his own ADF instruments, each with their own radios and frequencies. The plugin handles them as ADF3 and ADF4. The Marconi nav controllers on the roof panel, this one showing 110.9 MHz, were used to drive the needles on the direction-finding instruments, and were totally separate from the DME or distance measuring instruments which were added later. The plugin does this too. And finally, this is a closer view of magnetic indicators at work, this time on the fuel control panel.